The 2025 MLB Home Run Derby is officially here, and we are going to have a video today where we're going to break down who we think is going to win using math. Let's get into it. So in order to do this, I've built out some proprietary algorithms that we're going to go and fill out together, and it's going to spit out a Derby score with some expected odds based on that Derby score against the rest of the field, and then we're going to get what the expected value is based on the odds that we see at the books. Now look, we haven't tested this out yet. This is going to be purely for entertainment and for fun today. These types of events are always extremely hard to predict and anything can happen, but we're going to try to use some basic math, some basic stats that we can find here on Baseball Savant and build out what we think is going to be a home run derby winner. So in order to do so, I'll pull up the double screen. And you'll see here that we have our handy dandy Google Sheets here that I have pre-populated with the players, as well as some formulas that we're going to get as we fill out this table. And we're going to go through and we're going to look at some of what I think to be are the most important factors for these batters today for the home run derby. So first and foremost, age. This is going to be purely related to stamina. The younger the player, the more likely they're going to have the stamina to be able to swing hard and hit home runs for a long duration of time. We're going to look at average bat speed, average exit velocity, max exit velocity, barrel percent, average launch angle sweet spot percent, and then that's going to spit out a derby score once we have populated the whole table, which will then give us what I think are fair odds for these players based on their derby score, comparing it to the best odds that we can find currently on the market, and then finally our expected value for each player. So let's go ahead and let's just jump right in here and we'll fill this out together. Starting out with Cal Raleigh, he's having an incredible season, man. Unbelievable. Let me know in the comments, do you think Cal Raleigh is going to break the record for most home runs in a season in the AL? I personally do think he will do so. So I can't believe it. We're sitting at, 38 home runs already at the All-Star break? Barry Bonds level numbers. It's crazy. But let's keep going here. Average bat speed here, 75.1. Average exit velocity, 91.8. That is good enough for 84th percentile in the league. His max exit velocity here, 114.7. I do think that's going to be a little bit on the lower end compared to the rest of the field here, but we'll see. Barrel percent, 20. Outstanding, 98th percentile there. Average launch angle. We are looking at an average launch angle of 21.6. That is beautiful. Launch angle sweet spot percentage, he's looking at 34.7% of the time, and our derby score 1.23. Now, let's keep going. On to our next player, we have James Wood. James Wood, if you don't know, they got him in the Soto trade. It actually worked out really well for them in that regard. He has been an outstanding player, and he's sitting at the youthful age of only 22 years old, which is insane to be producing like he is at only 22 years old. Wow. That I didn't realize that. I thought he was 24. I guess I was wrong. Average bat speed here, we're looking at 76.1. Sheesh. Average exit velocity, 93.6. Max exit velocity, we're sitting here at 117.9. And then barrel percentage, we are looking at 18.5. And an average launch angle of, where is that? 6.1. So really rough on the launch angle. Holy cow. 6.1 is tough. That's going to hurt him. Launch angle sweet spot percentage 34.2. And a final derby score of 6.06. But once again, these derby scores are only relevant for the players that are in the field so far. So ignore this for now because as more players come in, those derby scores will adjust. Junior Caminero on the Rays here. He has been one of the best players to bet on. I feel like he respects the coin. It is very often that whenever I do take Junior Caminero for a home run, he does come through. So I respect him a lot for that. His average bat speed here is 78. Wow. The highest we've seen so far, with his average exit velo being 91. That is a bit lower than normal. His max exit velo is 116.5. His barrel percent, 10.9 only. That is a little bit on the lower side here. Average launch angle, we're sitting at 8.4. And then his launch angle sweet spot is a low 28.9. Oops, I put 38.9. I meant 28.9. Let me adjust that. Okay. Byron Buxton here. Buxton just fresh off hitting for the cycle. He's one of my favorite players in the MLB. He has been for a while. He's just so exciting. He's extremely fast. You can see he lights up the savant numbers here in batting, in running, in fielding. His average bat speed here is 75 miles per hour. Average exit velocity, 92.1. Max exit velocity here, he's sitting at a 116.9. His barrel percent, 15.8. His average launch angle is 18.1. That is really good. His launch angle sweet spot percentage is 33. And his Derby score updated there. Brent Rooker. We're going to go into Brent Rooker here. 30 years old. 30 years old. I'm a Brewers fan, if you guys didn't know. This is the guy that I wanted us to get on the trade deadline last year so bad. I was begging for it. Could not get it done. We just could not get it done, and now he's signed an extension with the A's. He's going to be there for a while, which is sad to me because I love Brent Rooker. Bat speed, 73.8. Oh, 73.8. Average exit velocity, 91.6. Max exit velocity, we're looking at 113.4. Barrel percent, we are looking at 14.6. Average launch angle, 16.6. Sweet spot percentage, 87th percentile, 38.9. That is nice from Brent Rooker. Next player here, Matt Olson. 31 years old. Average bat speed here is 73.6. Average exit velocity, 93.8. Max exit velocity, we're looking at a max EV of 118.6. That is the highest that we have seen so far. Barrel percent, 16.7. Average launch angle, 16.9. He's got some beautiful stats here. Sweet spot, 38.4. Matt Olson, what a beautiful stat line for him. Oh my gosh, this might be a sleeper here. Jazz Chisholm. Only problem with Matt Olson is that age. He is the oldest player here so far, and he will be the oldest player, actually. Jazz Chisholm's 27 years old. Average bat speed. I don't love Jazz for this one, if I'm being honest, but we'll see what the numbers say. We will see. Average exit velo, 89.3. That is the lowest that we have seen so far. Max exit velocity, though, 112.1. His barrel percentage, he's sitting at 18.5. That is a nice number. His average launch angle, we're looking at 12. And his launch angle sweet spot percentage is 34. And that is Jazz Chisholm's numbers. And last but not least, O'Neal Cruz. A lot of people are on O'Neal. We'll see what the model says here. This little tiny makeshift model. Average bat speed. We are going to find it. There it is, 78.6. That is the highest we've seen so far. Average exit velocity, 96.3. Also the highest we've seen so far. Max exit velocity, 122.9. The highest we've seen so far. Barrel percentage, 22.2. The highest we've seen so far. Oh my gosh. Average launch angle, 9.1 only. So that will hurt him a little bit. His sweet spot is 36.6, which is up there, and his Derby score of a 7.83. So, would you look at that? We have our model completed. So, as we look at this, let me just go ahead and bring this onto the single screen here, and we will go into it from there. So, here is the full final model that we've created for this Derby. As I said, this is a mini model. It's nothing crazy, but I think it does present us with some actually really good actionable data here. So the Derby score, as I mentioned earlier, this is a score from 0 to 10, being 0 the worst possible player and 10 being the best possible player. Obviously, we're not going to have any 10s. It is considering the rest of the scores for each of these little columns for the entire field. If we look at the scores here, we see O'Neal Cruz at the top with a 7.83. We have a couple guys in the 3 ranges, a 4.97, a 5.55. Some solid options overall, and based on these Derby scores, we are then able to create fair odds and then compare them to the best odds and get our expected value for each of these players in the Derby today. So as we look at some of these odds here, we're going to notice that the heavy favorite overall is still O'Neal Cruz. We have him at 374. We have him with a high, like I said, 7.83 Derby score. He is overall my pick to win the Derby. Now, is he the best option to bet on? No, and we will get into that here in 1 second as we digest the data that we see in front of us. when we look at this, O'Neal Cruz, his best odds on the market currently are 330, which is a minus 2.2% expected value. I do think he'll probably fluctuate back around the 340 range. So if we put that in, it is still a negative 1.6 expected value. But if we look at the other three players who are expected value under 0 or negative expected value, he is by far the least negative expected value at only around 1.6%. So it is not a terrible play still at the plus 340. And there are books that are currently offering promotions like a profit boost on this, which you could take, and that would thus increase O'Neal Cruz into positive expected value territory. So the first player that I will be taking today is O'Neal Cruz, and we are putting him right there as our first player we're taking. I'm targeting him at the plus 340 mark. Maybe I'll get him at the plus 330. We'll end up seeing what happens there. But he's the first guy that we're taking today. Next, as we look at this, Cal Raleigh, negative 11.6% EV. We have him at fair value of 646. So Cal Raleigh, unfortunately, we're going to not be taking him today. James Wood, his best odds are 425. We do have him at plus 568 as the fair value. That is also negative 4.1 expected value. However, James Wood, based on our odds here in this column, is the second most likely to win. So once again, if you do want to use a profit boost and try to boost him up, you could get him near or in the positive expected value range around the 560 mark as a Derby winner. So he is the second most likely based on our model. But once again, if anybody knows anything about betting, it's not about who's the most likely to win. It's about, are you getting a fair price for the probability that it actually requires for that player to win? So in this case, for me, on James Wood, I'm going to be out. If he wins it, that's great. We like I said, do have him as the second most likely person to win, but his value at 425 does not make sense for me to take it. As we go down the line here, we're going to go to Caminero. He is the second highest positive expected value here at 2.6%. I do think Junior Caminero is a good option to take today at plus 1,200 when we have him priced at around plus 876. You'll notice that is this is the worst. This is the second worst. He is the third worst. He's the fourth lowest chance to win on our model out of the 8. So kind of right in the middle in terms of can he win, can he not win? But they're giving you him at plus 1,200, which is really good value. So for a small sprinkle, Junior Caminero for the value. 2.6% expected value, 1,200 odds. Not a bad play if you're looking for a long shot just to get a little sprinkle on that is not O'Neal Cruz. And then next, Byron Buxton, about 0.7% EV, nothing crazy there. Brent Rooker, 0.7 EV, nothing crazy there. Both of these guys are fair value, but their odds are way too much of a long shot for me to really want to take them for that value. They're not getting what we would see in Caminero, where he's a long shot on the odds, but it's positive expected value in a significant manner. And now our third guy, Matt Olson. He's another guy that I really like today based on the value. You're getting Matt Olson at plus 950, fair value of plus 678, and he is the highest overall positive expected value player based on our mini model today at a 3.3% positive EV, which I love. I think it's a great option. He is the, call it fourth most likely, right behind Raleigh in terms of our model, but he is the highest in what you're going to get for that. You're getting 950 on a fair value of 678, 3.3%. I really like it. Jazz Chisholm, you are getting 1.2% expected value, but he is by far and away our lowest likely winner here on the model at plus 1239 fair odds, and you're getting him at plus 1500. For me, that's not enough to make me really interested in the positive EV like we saw in Caminero, where he's about fifth most likely to win, but you get him for the second least likely to win value. So I'm out on Jazz. So for me, these are the guys we're taking today. O'Neal Cruz, he's probably going to win. He's who the model has winning. His value is close enough where I don't mind getting a little bit of negative EV on an event like this. Junior Caminero, he's by far the best long shot in terms of the value for having crazy odds like a plus 1,200. And then right kind of somewhere in the middle of those two is Matt Olson, where he's pretty favored on the model. You know, he's top 4 on the model, and then he's bottom 4 on the odds. So you get some good value in that at 3.3%. So these are who we're taking. Let me know in the comments who you're taking today if you are following this model or if you have a different system that you're doing yourself. And let me know also what videos you'd like me to make throughout the rest of the All-Star break each day while we wait for our daily normal MLB breakdown streams to come back. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video.